about the world and its people.
What's up, everyone? It's Iceman Oz, aka Jay, straight from the places of kangaroos and into your living room. Today, I have got for you guys my review of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This title is very interesting. I'd like to thank Ubisoft for supplying me the review copy. Give them a massive ups. I always appreciate working with Ubisoft, and I've had a great connection with them over a number of years. Now, that does not deter the fact that this will be a 100% spoiler-free and honest review. I'm going to give my honest thoughts, and I won't be as generous as what some people may think, even though I am partnered up with Ubi. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I will say my honest opinions. So, with that being said, if you're interested in that, be sure to smack a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much. Now, let's get into it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla takes a stab at being Witcher 3 in some ways. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is based on exploration. You're able to customize your quests, decide which path you want to go down, but there is a caveat to that, being when you are on a main mission, a lot of the time it can be very confusing and you'll get stuck a lot. You'll find yourself going on YouTube searching how to pass certain levels, and that does come across as a bit messy, right? We want it to be as seamless and as smooth as possible. I can't remember how many times in Witcher 3, which is what people will compare this to, because even though it is Assassin's Creed, it is more like Witcher at this point. It's making a full-on transition. Glitches, yes, across many levels, that is true, but it doesn't take away from the overall experience. There is a lot to be had here in terms of positives. We're going to go over the positives and negatives, and my first initial thoughts is, yes, there's a lot of glitches, yes, there's wacky level design, and yes, there are things that need to be improved. With that being said, visually, it's stunning. Maybe the best game I've seen, along with Watch Dogs Legion. Both stunning games in their own right, but the graphics in this game tend to get worse as you play on. So when you first start off, you're going to see some really beautiful views, and then the textures seem to dull down a bit as you go throughout the game. And that's, you know, that's nothing to hate on, because the fact of the matter is, this place is massive, okay? You're basically going across Europe. Okay, we're basically doing Europe here, so. Now, getting into the gameplay, much of it is based around hopping on a boat, either take over an area, defend allies, complete missions, and build your camp. It reminds me of Witcher 3, like I said earlier, in regard to its world and setting. Valhalla does have some pacing issues, particularly missions where you have to follow the AI. I could nitpick more, but it doesn't take away much from the overall experience. Glitches across many levels, like I mentioned again earlier. AI glitches, quests that get stuck, enemies that gain health. It's buggy, but not overwhelmingly so. But it's worth mentioning that they do exist, and you got to take that off the final score. On the two highest difficulties, expect to do the same part repeatedly. This game is not easy, it will not hold your hand, and in some ways, a lot of people will appreciate that. Me being included, I think it's great that this game isn't easy, that you do have some frustrating times with it, in a good way. The only problem with it is the combat system is a bit basic, and when you compare it to other Assassin's Creed titles, you'll notice it's less so than if you're comparing it to Syndicate or a couple of other games like that. You're going to see that they have a better combat system, so that's something that people are going to pick at. There's not really side missions, but there are spots on the map that have a silver or gold marker, and they are basically your side missions. They do have little stories in between, but nothing too much to speak about. The gold is where you can gain wealth. That's always good. I enjoy doing those. More so than the side missions, quote unquote. They tend to be random stories and mysteries. Some missions require specific triggers that are complicated, that make it feel clunky. You know I'm being fair because I've mentioned a bunch of cons, but let's go over some of the pros before we cover some more cons here. Its foundations are amazing. Such variants to distinguish that your character will be unique. You can dual wield a large variety of weapons, but the combat can be messy at times, and there are better combat systems than many other titles. It's got a decent story. I think a lot of people will enjoy it, but I found myself skipping through many scenes. I played this on PS4, which may have something to do with the graphic fidelity, which is one of the worst ways to play it, is on PlayStation 4, of course. Compared to being on Xbox Series X, PC, and PS5, where you'll see massive visual improvements, you'll have to notice that frame drops are going to be key, and they're going to be frequent on the previous generation consoles. It goes without being said, but still, it's a beautiful looking game. One of the best out there right now.
A blind pursuit of vengeance.
has made you predictable.
You are a shadow of your father, Gorm. Weak and witless.
And you will leave this place as ashes on the wind.
Across England's 4 kingdoms, there is so much to do, and that is what I love about this. You can get immersed in the world with its beautiful design and so much to do. The worst part of this game is when you get stuck on a level. I cannot insist how many times I've not wanted to play because I got stuck on a level, you know. And that is a real thing. The struggle, the pain is real. Now, regarding being so much to do, there is a massive skill tree. They have done fantastic with the customization of your character and upgrading your character. You will be truly unique. It gives the game replay value when you're able to customize to this degree, and the skill tree is massive. You can form alliances in different areas with groups. You'll do missions for them, and you'll build a closer bond, and you'll be able to utilize their resources, which is always great, and I like that integration, and it does make you feel very immersed. Those type of missions where you're combining with other groups does feel pretty seamless. The raids are also fantastic. I need to emphasize they are fantastic. The raids are a lot of fun. Now let's get into some of the cons, shall we? First 10 hours, you have limited abilities, and it doesn't get much more limited after that, but the first 10 hours you're gonna feel like you've taken a hop in a time machine. It will turn off some people, it's just a fact. And I am taking a final score off this because, like I did mention before, other Assassin's Creed titles have done better in terms of the combat, where it felt more smooth. It does feel a bit clunky at times. If you press X on the PlayStation while raiding a room, it often happens where you climb the top of the house by accident, or you climb on different parts. So it's like the old Assassin's Creed mechanics creeping in with the new ones, and it can be a bit clunky, but at the same time, one other thing that did annoy me, I would put this as a con, is that it was a con, alright. I couldn't even skip main mission scenes. I don't know what is going on there. I didn't want to watch some of the missions, especially the main ones. I just wanted to, you know, pass through it as fast as possible. And sometimes you're unable. Now the horse. Okay, I know they're trying to be like Witcher, but man, this horse has some problems. It gets stuck everywhere. I feel like I am driving a truck when I'm riding this horse. I feel like I'm driving a truck. Overall, if you want to know my final score, I'm going to give this a 7.2 out of 10. I'm being more strict than IGN, who gave it an 8. I know some places gave it a 9, a 9.5. It's not a 9.5, and it's not an 8, but that's not to say it's a bad game. I think it's good. I think it has a lot of potential. And if they sharpen up the mechanics in these areas unilaterally, I would have given this an 8 if there wasn't so many areas where you would be struggling to know what to do next and going around in circles. It is very tiring and it does turn you off from playing. So if they can make smoother level design, this would have been an 8. If they made stronger combat system, it could have been a 9. But because of these things, you have to take it off the score, and to be a truly honest review, you have to look at it unilaterally, and unilaterally it's about a 7. Hopefully this does seem like a fair review. I think it is super fair considering, you know, they've sent me the copy of it and I haven't given it a 10 out of 10. You know, I haven't given it a 9, I haven't even given it an 8, which is what most companies gave it. I'm going to be fair and honest with my reviews like I always am. So if you enjoy that type of thing, be sure to subscribe and smash the like button, tell your friends. Also stream, so if you want to check those out, feel free to drop in sometime. But with that being said, thank you for watching. I hopefully enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, share, subscribe, and peace.